Boy, it is a hot one today. I was going to do a what's in my minimalist vlogging camera bag video today, and that's exactly what's going to happen. But first, this mess is not really the best backdrop for shooting a video, so I'm going to do something about that first and then come back to you guys. So it's 2020 and now I have a backdrop, which is great. I can do this talk to you stuff more. I like to travel light. I don't like to travel carrying a whole lot of junk with me. So I have my bag, which is this one here. This is a tiny bag, as you can see next to my head. It is either I have a massive head or it's a tiny bag. You will often see this strap across me like a seatbelt when I'm filming, and that's because I just have this tiny bag on my back, which is everything I take vlogging. This has got everything in it. Normally I strip out what I don't need for the day or don't think I'm going to need for the day, and I travel as light as possible, but this is generally what I carry if I need everything. But I'll start with something that goes with me everywhere, whether I've got any of this stuff or not, and that of course is phones. So I have two phones. I have a personal phone, which is my this one here. This is my iPhone SE. It is running on iOS 13, so it's all up to date, running the latest software, and it runs great. It still performs awesome. It's got really good battery life, and it's got a monster truck on the back because my son decorated it with a sticker. But this thing's great because it can shoot up to 4K with the back camera, and I'm able to get some really good time lapses or shots if I'm just out and about. You'll often see it when I'm in the airport. Usually I'm shooting with this, or sometimes with this as well. So this is an iPhone 7, which is my work phone. That's why I've got two iPhones, an old one I've had for years, and my iPhone 7, which is my work phone. But both of them are handy. I also mostly shoot, and as I am right now, on my Osmo Pocket. Here comes B-roll of the Osmo Pocket, shot later on an iPhone because I don't have another camera to shoot B-roll with. It's hard to shoot B-roll with the camera that you use, of the camera that you use. Generally speaking, I use the DJI mobile app, and that is what, you would have seen the bracket that I use. Phone plugs into the Osmo Pocket, and that's how I can frame things up and see everything properly. And then I have the other phone for shooting additional time lapse or messing around on social media so that I can pass the time while I'm doing time lapses, or sometimes I'm just shooting additional footage. So I've got the Osmo Pocket, I've got my phones. Another addition is, of course, one thing you've got to worry about all the time when you're shooting: battery life. I have a battery pack. This is a 10,000 milliamp battery pack. It'll charge my phones, either of them, 3 to 4 times, so I can at least charge both phones twice with this, which is really handy. But also I carry this for the Osmo because I can just simply plug in the Osmo and not have to worry about it if my battery's getting low. It's that peace of mind. The Osmo's got great battery life, but sometimes you just need to top up, or you just don't want to miss out on that final time lapse. Of course, to go with the battery pack, I have a 2 meter USB-A to USB-C cable. So it's nice and braided, so it doesn't make a lot of noise, and it's nice and insulated, so it doesn't, affect the quality from the microphone or anything. It is a little bit tricky that if I'm using an external mic, I can't also use this to charge, which is a real shame. But if you're running low on juice, I can plug this in my bag and not have to worry about it when I pull it out. Or alternatively, battery in my pocket, cable from my pocket. It's 2 meters. I don't have to worry about getting tangled up on my own cord. So there's those. Next, making things look good in the bright sunlight, ND filters. There we go. Simple 3 of them, 8, 16 and 32. I find those are most useful. These 3 is like a basic starter pack. For the price, totally worth it. Has made all the difference. In the vlogs we've seen outside, ever since I think the first trip to Australia where everything was a bit blown out and white, I didn't have these. Everything since then I've used these, and it's turned out so much better. What else have I got? That's it for the front pouch. Next is audio. So up above me you'll see a link to a video that I made where I made a windsock, this thing. So I have this is the Sensmonic I really liked this. I bought this initially because it plugs directly into my iPhone and is multi-directional, so I can turn it around and I can film with my iPhone and have this camera either pointing at me or pointing at the subject and get better audio, and of course with a windsock less noise. So I liked this a lot, but the iPhone plug is a 4-pin plug and I needed a 3-pin, so they do the same one with a different plug. So I now have 2 of these, one for my iPhone if I'm using my iPhone, and another one which happens to have the windsock on at the moment, which does seem to work, for my Osmo Pocket. And of course for the Osmo you need the dongle to go with it. So I have my dongle and my mic. Mic goes into dongle, mic bends, mic pops into the Osmo Pocket. I've done a lot of videoing since the latest firmware with the Osmo Pocket that the audio's been great straight out of the camera, but the reason I need this is more for direction, a little bit more directional. The Pocket does tend to pick up a little bit more background noise as well as the wind noise. It doesn't tend to do that great with wind noise. So 2 microphones, 2 turntables and a microphone, 2 microphones and an Osmo Pocket. Next, a couple of things that go together. I have the Wi-Fi dongle for the Osmo Pocket. This allows me, when I'm doing a shot of myself in the distance, so full body in the distance, I don't need to have anybody with me. I just need a tripod and I need this, and I can plug it in. This also works as a stand, so you can stand it on the desk nice and easy, or on my watch. Look, it fits perfectly on the TicWatch. But also sometimes you need to do this on a tripod, and so I've got the Ulanzi mount. It's a standard sort of mount for a tripod. That just, I should show you that properly. That just slides in, and you can still access the USB at the back for charging, and it works great, absolutely great. This in combination, that time lapse I shot earlier, all shot with this, so thumbs up. Keeping the Osmo safe, what have I got? Well, this is the thing that Osmo lives in generally for the most part, but sometimes this is just too much to carry around. So I actually have this little cover which protects the gimbal in my pocket, so I can just slide this on and off rather than taking it in and out of this big bulky case. It means if I just have the Osmo, it's a lot easier just to carry this around and swap it on and off on the go, protecting the Osmo Pocket while also making my life a lot easier. Now, mounts and things, I guess we get into. This is where it gets fun. Oh, of course, microfiber cloth for keeping things clean. You've got to have one of these regardless. I carry several of these in the car, but I always have one in my bag so I can clean my lenses and my filters and things, and even my phone lenses, because you get, especially in summer when you've got sticky fingers from sweat. Perfect. You don't want to have a blurry, gross shot because of your gross fingers. Now, I have several mounts to start with. I have this little thing here. This is a little clamp mount that it can mount the Pocket with. I have the one you saw earlier, of course, that the Osmo Pocket's on at the moment, which also allows the smartphone to attach. But this little thing here just clamps on, and then this part here screws onto a tripod. I used this one for a while, but sometimes you want to shoot just with the Osmo. I don't want to have my cell phone sticking out the side of it, and I don't want this big bulky thing. I just want it small and light, and this is the perfect little mount for that. Another perfect mount, which is currently on a window mounted device. This obviously goes onto a window. It articulates all over the show, so I can change where it's pointing. It uses GoPro mounts, and on there at the moment I have this little mount here that you can see, which is a GoPro. Which is a GoPro type of mount, right? And this just slides into the Osmo Pocket, where it also has a hot shoe on it, so if I wanted to mount a mic or a light or something, I can do that. But this just slides into the front of the Osmo Pocket, which means I can just take the Osmo Pocket, slide it into here when this is mounted in the car, and it's a nice quick release thing. In fact, I would like to have a couple more of these, and I probably will get a couple more of these to mount to various places, just because they're nice, quick, easy switches. For example, I also have this. This goes on to a bag strap, so I can strap this to a shoulder or a bag, mount the Osmo Pocket, get that point of view footage. So this is quite handy. It also twists around, so it's a bit stiff, which is great because it's not going to slip, but it's a full 360 spin, so I can mount it basically anywhere that I can strap this to, which is really handy. Now, tripods. My very first tripod I got was this. Very simple little tripod. These things are great for all sorts of cameras. They're very small, they're very portable. It's got a removable ball mount on the top, so you can see that, and that just screws up, so that can go onto any of my tripods, which is great. This gives it a nice stable platform, so on a desk or something this would be perfect. I'm using a larger tripod to film this because I'm showing you this gear, otherwise I'd probably be using this to mount it. The thing that goes with this really well is the other thing that I absolutely is a must for any photographer regardless of your camera. This is a monopod. So this one, quite often if I need a little bit extra height on a desk, it has a foot which is normally screwed into the bottom here. It's on a ball, so it's easy to move, easy to articulate and move around. But generally I don't use the foot very much. So that just lives in the bag. If you saw my running video, again there'll be a link up here about why I run. There were a couple of shots, tracking shots that I did of myself, of my feet anyway, and also crane shots where I used this in combination with this. So I had this screwed into the bottom. This is a good grip, extends. This is great for a little grip too if you want to hold something out in front of you. But I used this as a grip. I then extended my monopod, which goes out quite a way, and use that as for a crane lift shot and for also tracking around my feet. And that's how I made those shots, was to grab this and move it about. Monopods for all sorts. You can fake so many shots from crane, whether it's a crane shot just using your arm, or you could use a crane shot off a deck of a railing or something. Just with the Osmo stability, it just works so well. And you can get all that extra reach you couldn't normally get. I wouldn't go much longer than this one. This one's probably about a meter-ish, maybe a little bit more than a meter. Tiny little thing, fits in the bag perfectly. And again, you can use, so versatile. I might leave this at home in favor of a different tripod, but I'll always carry this with me. And of course, the main tripod I've been using for a while, it looks like a banana because it's bent. This is my flexible tripod. This one has a lot more stability as a tripod than this. This one, if I extend the legs out and then put the monopod on it and stand it all the way up in the air as high as it goes, will wobble and fall over, and I've had that happen a couple of times to my detriment. Thank goodness the Osmo Pocket was nice and tough at the time. But this thing has flexible legs, a bit like a Joby, but this one's actually rubber all the way along, and it's not a friction based, it's based on metal. So eventually that metal on the inside that's all bendable and flexible will fail, but at the moment it's quite strong. This was like $8 on AliExpress too. It was awesome. But I can wrap these legs around a pole. I can, as you saw, banana them for selfies sort of style stuff. And it's just very, very versatile, but it's also quite a stable tripod. And if I need it to be more stable, I can bend the legs out more and give myself a nice stable platform. These two combined, almost the same height, can do the same job as a much larger tripod as a result. Another reason I like this one, again, it's got a ball mount, so it's nice and you can flick it around. It's got plenty of points of articulation as a result. It has a spirit level, I don't know if you can see that, spirit level on the top so that you can make sure it is nice level. Doesn't matter so much for the Osmo, but it can come in quite handy, especially if you're using cell phones. And that's the other thing, this thing has a little party trick for cell phones. This little cell phone mount built in right into the tripod, otherwise it just folds away. I can mount this in a lot of ways. It is a bit bulky on the end. I kind of wish this whole thing would, I mean, this thing does come off technically, but it's not the best. I wish this whole bit came off so I could put my regular ball mount on the top, but you work with what you got. And for $8, I can't complain. I cannot complain. I've used this so much now, and it's been awesome to just have that flexibility to be able to mount the camera basically anywhere I want. Very, very useful. I do have to bend it into a banana to fit it into my bag because it's at that height where here it fits perfectly, as you can see. Not straight, unfortunately. So that's it basically. It looks, I know it's a minimalistic vlogging setup. It looks like a lot, but it's a lot less than I think most people. It's not big cameras. Everything folds down into this. You don't need a whole lot to go. You could, and it doesn't have to be an Osmo Pocket. You could be using a GoPro or any kind of action camera or a point and shoot. It's next to nothing, guys. You can vlog. Anyone can vlog with this stuff. So if you like this video, thank you so much for watching. Please give us a thumbs up if you want to see more about my creative process. I do plan to make more of these videos in the future. And if you want to learn how to vlog on a minimum budget, or even just as a minimalist in terms of gear, I plan to do a lot more of this sort of behind the scenes stuff in the future. But let me know what you think and what you'd like to see from me in terms of my creative process. Jump into the comments and share your ideas. What equipment do you use? What do you think I'm missing out on? And let's learn how to make videos together. I got nothing to throw at the camera. This.